Hey team, communication is the key to leadership, as are perspective, understanding and connection. I talk about communication all the time. It's absolutely at the centre of all our leadership work. Now, at the beginning of an academic year or a new term, with good rest on our side and when energy is high and the natural startup buzz is there, we feel it. We see people going the extra mile and extending a hand to others. Everyone puts in that extra effort to listen, to understand and to connect. It's the honeymoon period, the feeling out stage, the first impression, make my mark era. It's exciting and it's all about energy. We know the phases, forming, norming, storming, reforming, performing. And in that forming phase, we're nervous, we're optimistic, we're scared, we're hopeful, we're focused, we're driven, we're excited. We form our teams and everything seems grand, really grand. And then as we become more relaxed, eased, and it starts to feel like it's working, momentum, confidence, we become more relaxed into those relationships. We are less conscious of our actions and interactions, and we start to find the rhythm of our daily lives. Work becomes busy and we develop a way of working. We have an understanding, we sort out the norms. Some of these norms we've talked about, we're explicit about the establishment of them. Where are we going to work? When are we going to meet? How do our meetings work? Times of work, those expectation things. And then we have those unspoken norms, like the coffee routines and who sits where. And norms give us those familiarities and the structures we need to find the levels of trust and a level of understanding. So we've been forming, we've been norming, and then we come to this really important phase that everyone feels uncomfortable with. It's that feeling of self-doubt, the blame, the justification, where we have to justify things we feel critical and criticised and wounded. It's the change happens. The storm, we feel unsettled. The little things start to annoy us. The unspoken understandings become frustrating. Those little subgroups form and the complaints begin and the odd comment comes or the silent disengagement and disagreement. Firstly, believe it or not, it's healthy, it's normal, and it's a really critical time. Okay? We started conscious and forming, less conscious, and we've relaxed a little bit with norming, and we bring back that consciousness and that awareness at the storming phase. It is here that leaders start to self-doubt. What did I do? Why did this happen? What went wrong? Let me tell you, nothing is wrong. It's really normal. However, it's a critical time for communication and leadership. It is about stepping into the big boots and working hard, squeezing the wound or throwing the rocks out of the river. We start to read the situation and look for our interpretation of it. We blame, we justify, and we begin with introspection. We feel defeated or combative or frozen. Why? Because little things matter, and so do bigger things. Can be about power, about resistance, about frustration and boredom and stress. Don't guess, try to understand. Bring that understanding. Okay, so now what? It feels difficult, challenge, we have to be brave, we have to get hopeful. This is important to be really conscious and active. It's the grind so that we can reform. Leaders need to read people and try to understand, but don't become the fortune teller. Don't guess. Stop and try to understand. Others may not understand what you expect of them, or even their behaviour and the impact that it's having on others. This is leadership. Leaders have to bring the understanding, even when others can't bring it right now. We have to find that perspective. But how do you do it? Watch people, give people a little space, and then communicate. Don't leave it. Don't stop talking. Push in. Put the rock on the table and talk about it. It's frightening, it's difficult. Ask, so what do we need to talk about? And then let it flow. No defense, no justification. Just listen and listen, no suggestions, listen some more. And then ask, well, where do we go from here? What can I do to make this work for both of us? And plan. Listen again, negotiate, plan again, action, follow through. And if you want to find performing, storming and norming have to happen. You can't get to performing without norming, storming, reforming. Lencioni, Daisley, Brené Brown, Sinek and Sharma all talk about the foundations of trust. Foundations are the heaviest, biggest part. They take the time to build. As they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. But if you don't put time into keeping the foundation strong and communication pathways clear of those cobblestones, results will not happen. Conflict is invaluable. It leads to commitment, accountability, and results rely on trust, conflict, and commitment. Communication here is about presence and space and listening, not talking, not having to have a voice and not getting in the last word. It's about 80% of listening, reconnecting and rebuilding. Whether it has happened yet or not, rest assured it will happen. Sit, be present, open up, don't try to control it. Communicate in through your action and your silence.